Hello, my sugar bears. Good evening. It's been a minute. I know that I haven't been here in a while. It's so good to see all of you. I hope you guys are having an awesome Thursday evening. Before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching, for commenting, and most of all, subscribing. If you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and most of all, subscribe. Become a sugar bear. It'll mean so much to me and my mascot, Mr. Billy. You can't see him. He is here. He's just not on camera. But I just want to say thank you. And if you would like a reading outside of this medium, this modality, then you can log on to my website, which is psychicleo.com. That's psychicleo.com. All the information is in the description below. All right. So, what are we in here about? We are in here about the wind down with Mary J. Blige. So, I watched the first episode. And if you haven't, if you don't know what the wind down is, or if you haven't seen it, the wind down is basically a very laid back talk show. It kind of puts me in the mind of like mm, I'm trying to think of a show, like a not a variety show, not like a Johnny Carson or a Jay Leno or a Jimmy Fallon. I'm trying to think of a late night talk show that you guys would know. Um, Kind of in the mind of like a politically incorrect, except you're not talking about politics. You're talking about things that, everyday stuff. Like you talk about love, you talk about marriage, you talk about dating, you talk about sex. So in the show, it basically is Mary J. Blige and like her and her two friends. So in this episode, it was Taraji P. Henson, actress and singer, and it was Young Miami or Carisha Brownlee. I actually didn't know that was her name, from the City Girls. So in the show, they talked about love, marriage, dating, sex, things like that, and they drink, which is why they call it the wind down. So they drink. It's like you kicking back. Just imagine like you kicking back with your girlfriends and you talk about just you just unwind, you wind down. Hence the name of the show. So I watched it because I said I had seen clips about it, online, and I was like, well, let me watch this. Let me not judge a show based on a 1 second clip or a 2 minute clip. It's like that's not to me. That's not fair. That's like reading the headline of an article and not reading the full thing to get the full context. So I watched the show last night, and I have to say, I like the premise. I really do. Excuse me, I like the premise of the show a lot, actually. I like the fact that you can, you got you and your girls, you're hanging out, you're kicking it, you take your shoes off, you have wine, maybe a little food, you know what I mean? Like you talk and you just talk about things that are really going on in your life. You can tell that Mary J. Blige is nervous to doing it in a sense because she's not used to being a hostess in that way. Because as they're talking and laughing, she's also like, well, what does love look like to you? She asks questions. But what I don't like about the show is, like I said, I like the premise, but I'm going to say this. I felt as if when I was watching the show that you had three women, right, all saying the same thing, just in different ways, in my opinion. And when it came to Mary Jane, I felt like she was doing the fake it until you make it kind of thing. Like, good morning, beautiful, because she kept saying it. Good morning, it's me. It's all about loving me. Me. Self-love, self-love, self-love. And I'm like, who are you trying to convince? The viewers or yourself? Like, what are we doing? And with Taraji, I felt as if she was going through or is going through a bout of depression because she said towards the end of the show that she wasn't happy. And she talked about how she had been engaged twice and that she didn't, see herself getting married. She didn't see herself, having the big fairy tale wedding anymore. That kind of went out the window for her. What else? They talked about how she and Mary talked about how they were both in abusive relationships and that's what they saw. You know what I mean? Like they talked about their traumas and things like that. And here's the thing that I here's why I didn't like I like the premise of the show, but I didn't like the how do I say it? I felt like the conversation was good, but it was very surface. And and then when it came to Carisha, right? When it came to her, I was like, okay, she's like, well, I'm just fluid, and I'm this, and I felt like she missed the point. She missed the point with what, like, there was some jewels in there, but they were very few and far between. And I felt like Carisha missed the point with what they were trying to say. I felt like she was just there, to be honest with you, just to like have a younger perspective. But then I also like the one thing I noticed about Taraji and Mary was like, oh, well, you young girls, you guys have got it. Oh my God. And and Carisha was like, well, I've never seen a happy marriage, so I don't want to get married. And I was in an abusive relationship and I have two kids and my mother was a hustler. And I'm just like, okay, so you all are saying the same things, and how they were saying, like, well, Taraji and Mary were like, well, we invented the strong black woman. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, but obviously you're not that strong if you're in your 50s and you're still figuring out how to love yourself, one, how to come out of like your emotional funk, two, and you're more so admiring someone who is, if Mary J and Taraji are in their 50s and Carisha's 20, you're admiring someone that's 30 years younger than you. Like, you're envying them, and not envying them, but you know what I mean? Like, because they were saying, like, Taraji and Mary were like, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could be, where I could just, have sex and, fuck and it not be an issue. And I'm like, you can do that. You just choose not to. You condition yourself. It's like you can be Carisha. And Mary, let's be honest, you were Carisha. And no, well, no, no, no. You were not. She was a Keisha Cole. If you listen, I grew up with Mary J. Blige, with her music. I remember when she first came out with Reminisce, 411, all of that. And she wasn't a Carisha, she was a Keisha Cole. Because she used to fight people. She used to have a really bad drinking problem. She was big on drugs. And she's made this, public herself. But, and what I noticed was they didn't talk, like Mary didn't talk about her. She didn't open up a lot. She really didn't. She tried, but I don't think I feel like it didn't give what it could have gave. I'll just say it like that because I know people say it's giving. It's like, please stop using ballroom vernacular. Ugh. But anyway, stop wearing it out. Anywho, but it could have been better. It really could have been. And I think and the one thing that I honestly do not like about a lot of Black or just programs with people of color, period, is you only see one side of the coin. You don't see the different aspects. You don't see like you had Black Love, like on the OWN network, right? You had that. But you don't see that on BET. You see the wine girl with two Banji girls just having fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. But show a woman that's married, show a woman that's secure, show a woman that's kind of in between. That's like, I've been married, I'm dating again, but I'm learning. You know what I mean? I'm not broken. And that was the thing that I noticed about, for me, while watching the show, because the show is about 40 minutes long. But while watching the show, I noticed how, and I hate to use the word, I hate to say broken, but I noticed that. Like, I really did. Like, Taraji and Mary were like broken women. And I'm like, this isn't good because you got young girls who look up to, and even Carisha. And mind you, I don't know anything about the City Girls. Nothing. I just know they can't rap. I know that they hang out with Rick Ross and drag. Take it however you want to. And they're from Miami. That's all I know. And they talk like they have cotton in their mouth. I don't know anything else. Okay. And before people come for me, oh, but you just know, I'm saying what I think is fact. To me, they talk like they have cotton in their mouth. Um, but I don't know. I just think it could have been better. It could have been, and I now I remember what I was trying to think of what it could have been reminiscent of. If you guys remember Our Voices with Bev Smith back in the 90s, back in the late 80s, early 90s, actually mid 80s, early 90s. Bev Smith show was like that. But Bev Smith show, if you remember, Bev Smith show was classier. You had they had a pianist. They talked about different topics, everything from religion to the adult industry to um, um, uh, oh my goodness, to size, being large women, race. They talked about a lot of like great subjects, if you remember that particular show. And I love that show. Like that show was great. And if you remember it, that was a show that actually where we saw Ian LeBron kind of make her debut. But anyway, but it kind of is reminiscent in that. It's just a more updated version, sort of. But I feel like with Mary, she was holding back because she didn't talk about what she was really going through. She just kept saying, "Well, I'm loving on me, I'm loving on me, and I'm loving on me," and I'm like, "Okay, girl, we get it. Like you don't have to hammer it into the ground. We understand that you're in counseling. We understand that you're dealing with some stuff. We get that. And here's the thing: loving yourself is not an easy thing. Like loving yourself is hard because you really have to, you know, fight with your demons and learn to play with them. But I feel like with someone like Mary J. Blige, it's like you keep saying it, but you're probably doing only surface level work, in my opinion. That's just me. And I could be wrong. I don't know her like that, but that's what I got from it. And I just felt like it could have been so much more. It could have been so much more. And I would love to see a wind down kind of show for men. They had that with LeBron, like with the barbershop. But I would love to see a show like that where you have guys having cocktails and they're talking and they're like, yeah, and not just straight men, but you have a straight man, you have a bisexual man, you have a man that's pansexual, and you have a gay man, you have a trans man. You have every aspect, and they can talk about their life and their experiences from their point of view. I would love to see a show like that or a panel like that. And we talk about love and life and dating and, sex and, all of that. I think that would be really important because, like I said, I think if you're going to show the Black experience, you should show every aspect of it. That's the one thing about the media that I do not like. I'm grateful for things like the YouTube because you can see different sides of it. But even in that, like if you think about a lot of the YouTube shows, I'm not going to name any names, but if you look at a lot of them, they follow the basic formula. But I would love to see shows where you see people of color, Black people, people of different nationalities coming together, but it's not always about drama. You know what I'm saying? But let's be honest, myself included. If it wasn't about drama, we wouldn't watch it. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on the whole line now. I thought it was good, but it really could have been better. Will I watch it again? Probably, depending on the guest. I'm not a huge Mary J. Blige fan. Um, but I may watch it again. I know that her next guest after Taraji and Carisha was 50 Cent. I don't know how that went, but maybe we'll see. But I just wanted to speak my piece about it. I just thought that for young women, it just could have been better. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, so with that being said, I want to know. One second, because my camera's messing up. Okay. So with that being said, I want to know, what do you guys think of the show? What do you think of the wind down with Mary J. Blige? Will you be watching? Will you support it? What would if you had control of the show? What would you do? What would you include? What would you like to see? Let me know in the comments below. So I thank you, my sugar bears, for watching and for listening. And I hope you guys have a great, great rest of the day. All right. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.